As you're aware, I've been coming to meetings since May, or March, yes, March, discussing the issue of self-storage as it relates to the MU2 district and also the Aquifer Protection Zone.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
So we're proposing that as conditional use in the mixed use too.
Yes.
And you?
Yes, I acknowledge that. Yes, I thank you for responding to our information in that regard. I guess the issue before us this evening is regarding the perceived threat of self-storage to the Aquifer Protection Area B zone. We're requesting that self-storage be added to the conditional uses that are allowed in the Aquifer Protection B zone. There are 17 other uses. This is in the information that I gave you at the last month's meeting. There are 17 uses in the Aquifer Protection B zone that are allowed as conditional uses. I could read the list if you wish, but that's one of the reasons why I gave the information in a written form. It includes things like light industry, automotive repair, transportation services, salvage yards, on-site wastewater disposal systems, or wastewater treatment facility. So it's our contention that self-storage is less likely to cause environmental impact to the Aquifer Protection B zone than most of the items on this list. And we're just asking to be added to the list so that self-storage business might be considered in the APO B, just like these other businesses are. The search that we've conducted both at EPA level and state level shows no history of hazardous waste storage in self-storage units throughout the country. So I guess the other item is the leases that are signed on the individual storage units prohibit storage of anything perishable or flammable, chemicals, paints, hazardous, noxious materials, foodstuffs, seeds are illegal material. And I have a statement here that Andy asked me to read that gives you some insight into his leasing procedure. He said, I meet every tenant and review with them the lease agreement, show them the space and how the locks work, and make it clear that no hazardous materials may be stored. The tenants sign and initial the lease when needed. I'm on site various times at all 3 locations, 7 days a week, 350 days a year. At my visits, I drive around all of the buildings inspecting the locks. I'm on a first-name basis with many of my tenants. I see many tenants when they visit their units. Most units see little activity. Many tenants hand deliver their rent to me or at the drop box outside my office. I get to know most tenants by the time they check out and drop off their locks or stop to chat. It gives me great satisfaction to provide a much needed service of affordable storage and U-Haul rentals to the community. And then he asked, please visit uhaul.com and look up Manchester or East Dorset and read the reviews of my customers and my customer service. He tries to provide all with excellent customer service. So I guess I'm restating what I've said previously, that in our research we find that the potential issues that were presented in an email from the town manager dated March 14th simply do not exist. Access to the units is easily Access to the units is guaranteed through the lease, so the lease notifies them that the owner has the right to enter the units at any time or authorize police or fire personnel to enter the units at any time. So there is simply no threat to the APO from self-storage units, certainly no more threat than there would be from at least a dozen of the other businesses that are currently allowed as permitted uses. The other item here is that following the list of permitted uses is a list of performance standards that need to be met in order for a project to be approved. So not only do you have to meet it has to be considered a conditional use, but the performance standards need to be met. So there are still a lengthy list of specific conditions that apply to protecting the APO. So if that requires additional work on the part of an applicant, then that becomes part of the application process. So our simple request is to be added to the list of the other conditional uses that are considered in the APO2 or APOB.
So we did a little research on our own and found many articles. We haven't verified any of them by going to these locations, but storage of mercury and self-storage unit in San Diego. Atlanta man sentenced for storing hazardous waste in self-storage facility. Self-storage owner discovers medical waste in units. Meth labs discovered in storage units. Endless stories about meth labs, actually. There's a lot of stories about meth labs. And so one of my questions is, does a typical self-storage unit owner of the business, do they have insurance against hazardous materials or contamination from units?